Reverend Dr. Patrick Kwampa to help us with the opening prayer. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Shall we rise as an honor to God even as we take the opening prayer? Immortal, invisible, God only wise, we thank you for the University of Cape Coast, its management, and all its stakeholders. We thank you for the achievements of the university. We commit the press conference on the establishment of the Africa Ocean Institute, AOI, into your hands. We ask that may you make it success. We ask for your presence and leading, and we thank you for an answered prayer. This we pray in the name of Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much. Kindly resume your seats. So I indicated that we are here for a press conference, and it's towards the establishment of the Africa Ocean Institute. But then to tell us exactly why this has become necessary, I would ask that you help me welcome again the Acting Director for the Center for Coastal Management, ACE Corps, Professor Precious Mata. Let's welcome him.
The Acting Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, Provosts of Colleges, Deans of Faculties, Schools, Heads of Departments, our friends from the media, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The purpose of our gathering this morning, as was said by the MC, is to introduce to us or announce to us that the University of Cape Coast has given birth to a new baby, and this baby is called the Africa Ocean Institute. We wish to make this announcement to provide a bit of information on the institute and to invite all stakeholders in the coastal and maritime space of Africa and the world at large to collaborate with us in the operations of the institute. In most countries of the world, ocean institutes are usually established by the initiatives of government. However, in the case of Ghana, the initiative was taken by the university with the support of the government. So recently, we have the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission giving us the permission to establish and run the institute. We are hereby called to provide more information about the institute, and I wish to welcome all of you to this place this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Mata. So we are now at the point where the business of the day will be settled, and that will be the delivery of the press statement. And to deliver it is the Acting Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, let's welcome Professor Dennis Walanyo Aheto.
Do I have to use this as well? Okay.
Registrar Gideon Enoch Abekwe Esquire, Provost of Colleges, Deans of Schools and Faculties, Directors, Heads of Departments present, the university community, distinguished guests, colleagues, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We have invited you here today to formally announce the establishment of the Africa Ocean Institute, AOI, here at the University of Cape Coast. This is a major step towards a strategic academic and policy initiative designed to strengthen Ghana's leadership in ocean and coastal knowledge, governance, and sustainable development in Africa. This follows an approval, as the acting director of ASCO has said, approval recently received from the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission after all due processes within the University of Cape Coast have been met. Registrar, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, why the Africa Ocean Institute? The majority of Ghana's economy, as well as that of many nations in Africa, is supported through maritime activities. Out of the 54 countries in Africa, 38 of them are coastal states. The marine waters of African nations, especially the Gulf of Guinea, the Atlantic and the Indian Oceans, as well as the Mediterranean and Red Seas, define Africa's past, present, and future. From food security and livelihoods to climate regulation, trade, and biodiversity, Ghana and Africa's coastal and marine spaces are central to the continent's development prospects. Yet, these waters and their resources face growing pressures from climate change, overfishing, pollution, habitat degradation, and weak integration between science policy and practice. Registrar, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Africa Ocean Institute under the College of Agriculture and Natural Sciences has been established to respond to these challenges by providing a coherent and interdisciplinary platform that seeks to connect research, capacity building, and policy engagement with development priorities related to our marine resources. The AOI will therefore serve as both a national and a continental hub for ocean research, policy, governance, and training to contribute to the development of Mother Ghana and the continent of Africa as a whole. Mr. Registrar, Provost, Deans, Directors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, why the University of Cape Coast? The University of Cape Coast is uniquely positioned to host this institute. As one of the world's prime seafront universities, UCC has decades-long tradition of excellence in marine and coastal studies. This newly established institute builds on that legacy, creating an opportunity to advance Ghana's blue economy, strengthen coastal resilience, and elevate Africa's voice in global ocean governance. AOI, therefore, consolidates and builds on existing strengths rather than starting from scratch, while elevating them into a unified institutional framework with continental reach. Mr. Registrar, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to now touch on the structure of the Africa Ocean Institute. The Africa Ocean Institute is anchored on three centers that are structured to complement the activities of the Institute. One, the Center for Coastal Management, CCM, recognized as the World Bank Africa Center of Excellence in Coastal Resilience. CCM brings internationally respected expertise in coastal adaptation, climate change, climate resilience, ecosystem management, and policy engagement through demand-driven applied research and professional capacity building. Two, the Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Sciences, DFAS. Many of you may not know that it's also a center of excellence. It's the African Union Center of Excellence for training in marine fisheries and coastal zone management. DFAS contributes strong capacity in fishery science, aquatic ecosystems, especially in marine sciences, food security and sustainable resource management through several tailored degree programs. Three, and this is the new one, the Center for Marine Affairs, CIMA. This is a newly established center positioned to expand AOI's focus into interdisciplinary research in marine governance, ocean policy, ocean law, and blue economy, strengthening the interface between science, decision-making, and societal impact, bridging the activities of CCM, ASCOR, and DFAS. Registrar, distinguished colleagues, these three centers or departments collectively form or has come to form an integrated platform that reflects the full complexity of ocean challenges that are scientific, social, economic, and governance related. Permit me now to zoom in to the national relevance of AOI. Registrar and distinguished colleagues, the Africa Ocean Institute will strengthen Ghana's ability to sustainably manage its ocean and coastal resources by 1, advancing national research into marine and coastal environment. 2, supporting evidence-based fisheries management, food security and coastal livelihoods. 3, informing coastal resilience and climate adaptation planning. 4, providing technical input into marine spatial planning, marine protected areas, and coastal zone management. 5, strengthening marine governance policy and blue economy development. 6, supporting government institutions, coastal communities, and industries through research, training, and policy advice. 7, reinforcing Ghana's leadership in ocean governance in Africa. On the continental and global relevance of AOI, the Africa Ocean Institute is conceived as a continental institute, not only serving Ghana, but supporting regional and continental agenda, including 1, Africa's blue economy ambitions. 2, climate adaptation and coastal resilience strategies. 3, sustainable fisheries and food systems. 4, capacity building for the next generation of African ocean professionals. 5, marine and coastal management research. 6, evidence-based policy and decision-making. 7, several sustainable development goals, including SDG 4, ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education. SDG 8, promoting sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth. SDG 13, taking urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. SDG 14, conserving and sustainably using the ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. And SDG 17, strengthening the means of implementation and revitalizing the global partnership for sustainable development. In addition, the AOI will also strengthen Africa's engagement in global ocean processes by generating African-led knowledge and perspective, training Africans by Africans for Africa. Mr. Registrar and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, status and next steps. Today's press statement or press engagement is an announcement of its establishment, marking the formal institutional recognition of AOI within the University of Cape Coast. In the coming months, the Institute will progressively operationalize its governance arrangements, partnerships, programs, and funding pathways. We will communicate these developments as they mature, starting with an official launch later this year in Accra. As I close, and in conclusion, the Africa Ocean Institute at the University of Cape Coast is reaffirming its commitment to academic excellence, societal relevance, and Africa-centered solutions by leveraging on the strengths and complementarity of its three centers or departments. We look forward to working with all relevant agencies of government of Ghana, regional bodies, development partners, industry, civil society, coastal communities, and of course, all of you here gathered here within UCC to ensure that Africa's oceans are managed sustainably for present and future generations. Thank you very much for your attention.
Let's do it once again for our Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Dennis Walanyo Aheto. At this point, it's going to be a questions and answers session, and we're going to have 5. very well-versed individuals in this area that we're talking about when it comes to managing our oceans and all that. And they're going to join me on stage so that the questions will be posed to them, and then they would give the corresponding answers to them. Before they come up, I just quickly want you to know that we would have on stage the Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Dennis Walenyo Aheto, and the panel would also consist of the Acting Director for the Center for Coastal Management, AISCO, Professor Precious Mata. We would also have the Provost of the College of Agriculture and Natural Sciences, because it is going to be within this college that this new institute is going to be found in, and that will be Professor Rufella Kombe. She'll be joining me up on stage. We'd also have Professor Agrifin. He is the head of the Department of Fisheries here at the University of Cape Coast, and would also have Professor Noble Asari. He is the theme lead for coastal dynamics, climate change, and disaster risk management. Ladies and gentlemen, it is fair that you welcome all of them with a warm round of applause as they make their way up onto the stage. The applause should be warm, please. Very warm. Yes, so we have our Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Mata, joining, Professor Griffin, Professor Rufella Kombe, and Professor Noble Asari. So this is the time for you to ask the questions about the establishment of the Africa Ocean Institute. Kindly note that all questions should center on exactly what we are discussing this morning. So if we have any questions from the audience at this point, from our media personalities who are here, this is the time to pose your question. The floor is now open. If you show by hand, you will bring the microphone to your end so that you'd pose the question that you'd want addressed. Any questions? Right. So we have one.
Well, good morning, and my name is Isaac Ochre. I want to ask, if you read the UCC statutes on what institutes actually are, and as the acting vice chancellor rightly pointed out, institutes differ from departments and others by being multidisciplinary institutions. So essentially, it means that we may have some colleagues here who are from religious studies, maybe others from economics, communication studies, and others who maybe have not rightly known how they will be positioned within the framework of working in African Oceans Institute. So I would appreciate if maybe any of the panel members could actually highlight how the African Oceans Institute brings that opportunity for others who may not have associated themselves with working in the areas of marine sciences, oceans, fisheries, and etc. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll get this one responded to, and then I would ask that if you have any other, you indicate, and then I'll come to your end. Professor Asari will help us.
All right, thank you very much for your question. Indeed, it is important to educate all of ourselves how the Ocean Institute is going to work regarding other departments and schools within the University of Cape Coast. As was rightly pointed out in the presentation by the acting Vice Chancellor, AOI is going to serve a number of areas which are cross-disciplinary, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. What that means is that the subject matter that we are going to be researching into, which is related to ocean, must bring together expertise from different backgrounds, which are all going to be harnessed to solve a common problem. This implies that there are a number of expertise areas that will be required, depending on what is at stake. And already, if you look at what we do in the natural sciences, it's mostly natural sciences. But in this particular case, there will be social sciences, and if you followed the presentation very well, for example, when it comes to the Center for Marine Affairs, it is going to be an area which would include marine law, policy, and governance, which means there will be the need for people with legal background in the marine space to come on board to help us solve the issues. There are marine resource economics implications in the area of our work. There are even socio-cultural issues that has to come to light. And for that reason, we will need people from the social sciences with that expertise to also come and work with us. And then, of course, there are a lot of other areas that borders on technology. So, in fact, we are even working closely with individuals from the University of Cape Coast who are into marine biotechnology. So it tells you that there's a whole host of things that are in the basket of AOI which require efforts from multiple disciplinary backgrounds to come together to work as one. So we will be approaching a lot of you where needed to come and support the activities that we do at AOI. Thank you.
Yeah, to buttress that, just want to give an example. Currently, the Center for Coastal Management, ISCOR, and School of Pharmacy, and together with Department of Molecular Biology and related departments, are working on a proposal to actually work on converting certain marine species into pharmaceutical products for our use in the country. So that is the starting point of our collaboration with various departments. So, like he said, it's transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and any other thing you can think of across disciplines that we will be doing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. One thing we have to understand that all of us sitting here, we are connected to the sea. Whether you are from hinterland or coastal area, we are connected to the sea. And the sea is big. As we can see, the land mass is just 30%, the water body is almost 70%. And what we also have to understand is that the net phase of our development in this world is into the ocean. Ghana, we are far, far behind. And we have made a lot of discoveries in our waters. Some fishes that we have never seen them before. When we were doing environmental work for the petroleum industry, we saw a lot of things. We discovered coral reefs. Deep water coral reef, which is not common all over the world. We have it in our waters. There are so many things we haven't touched. As the writer said, that it's linked to pharmaceutical research. It's linked to blue tourism. It's linked to so many research. So if you are UCC, you are in a medical field, you are within the institute. If you are in education, you are within the institute. If you are in business, you are within the institute. If you are entomologists, you are within the institute. So UCC will very soon become African Ocean University. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll soon become the African Ocean University. A few questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, MC. and thank you very much for this important event. I just want to find out, when the acting director was given the purpose of gathering, he indicated that in most African countries, the such institutes are championed by the government, but the University of Cape Coast has taken it upon itself to establish or take the state to establish this. I want to find out from management and then the director what steps we are taking to make sure that we work closely with the government so that we can have the full benefit of having such an institute in the university. Thank you.
Thank you. Acting Director, would you want to respond to this before we move to the next one? Okay.
So thank you, Alfred, for the question. So, in my presentation, I did allude to the fact that there are already 2 centers of excellence that are coming together. The African Union Center of Excellence in Coastal Management, and then you also have the World Bank Center of Excellence, which are 2 centers that have been approved by the government. So that is actually the starting point. And let's not forget that UCC in itself is a government institution. And the collaboration starts from there. So the bedrock of AOI is the government. And we had to go through a lot of process. I think from the start of the inception of the Ocean Institute, it's taken us almost 2 years. Or 3 years. Yeah, it's been 3 years, back and forth with GTEC, 2023, yes. And the process started from, those of us at the center and the department thinking through what we needed to do to come together. We had to go through the internal processes, through academic board, eventually to GTEC. So that is already there. And we are also going to leverage on existing partnerships that we have through the development partners, through other government agencies. And currently, there are quite a number of activities going on, consultancies that the center and the department are working on for government and also for other development partners. So basically, AOI is not new in its entirety. There are already initiatives that are going on. We simply felt that there was the need to come together because in unity there's strength, so that we can harness all the capacities within these 2 departments or centers. And then we leverage on creating the 3rd center, which is CIMA, Center for Marine Affairs, where we can bring on board, opens up a window of opportunity for us to bring on board other expertise from law, governance, and others. So it's an ongoing process. It's not entirely new. We simply want to synergize and coordinate our activities better. Because the press statement, we were not able to showcase other aspects of the governance because it's quite detailed and quite comprehensive governance system that is in place to be headed by an executive director, which has been approved by GTEC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I saw Professor Sanfo's hand up. Right. Dr. Kobla, I'll be back.
Good morning. Let me join in congratulating the new institute that has been birthed today. I hope that, and the question I was going to ask when the acting VC was ending his speech, he made some allusion to it, but I will reiterate it all the same. Normally, institutes they do emerge many a time, it may not be all the time, many a time from an existing center that gets elevated, and it may even eventually go to a school level. And so you see that the governance structure just get promoted. The person was an HOD, it becomes a school, and may end up becoming the acting dean or something. Now in this case, we have already 2 existing centers, a department and a center. And you just indicated a 3rd baby has been born to add to become 3 centers. And so, in academia, we have many ego. Who heads it? Who becomes the executive secretary? There are directors already. You said there's going to be an executive director. I don't know how that will be appointed. Is it going to be one of the existing directors who gets elevated? The other may not be happy. And so, how are you going to manage that so that this very great baby doesn't become a stillborn? Congratulations once more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sanfo. Prof, is it okay that I take Dr. Kombe's question?
Thank you very much. And again, I want to add my voice to congratulate the management of the university for this remarkable achievement. But the question I'm asking, and yes, how is this institute going to benefit the nation? How will it benefit the university? And above all, if I tell my mother that I was at the press conference this morning and there was an institute has been launched, how is it going to benefit the ordinary Ghanaian? Which programs and activities are you going to roll out, and how would they benefit us? What should we be celebrating in advance? Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Ansari.
Thank you very much. So this is an interesting question. First, let's look at how the structure of AOI is going to be, and then the modalities that we have put in our documentation in terms of who qualifies to be the leader of the AOI. To begin with, the institute, as was rightly reported, could be at different levels. In our particular case, the AOI is at the level of a school or a faculty within the university. So that is why it is placed directly under the the College of Agriculture and Natural Sciences. Now, within the AOI are 3 centers which are headed by directors or HODs. So they are at the level of head of departments within the framework of the university. And then on top of that is the executive director of the institute, who is at the level of a dean within the university. So in terms of appointments, of course, to a large extent, we rely on the existing structures of the university, but in the case of the executive director, we are trying to work the institute at an international level, which means that we use international best practices. So who qualifies to be the executive director is open to the international space. So anybody from anywhere within the university, outside the university, or outside Ghana can apply to become the executive director of the institute. So all of you who, once it get there, of course we've now started, so once it get there, we would see how best we can advertise so that everybody within the university or outside the university who qualifies to apply can apply. So that's the first question. The second question is, how does the institute benefit Ghanaians? Right. Of course, there are a lot of challenges within the country, and if you look at the marine space, especially the 4 regions of Ghana, the vast majority of Ghanaians' livelihood depend on the sea. And we know now that there are a lot of challenges that our fisher folks and the communities along the coast are facing, multiple challenges. Some of them have already been alluded to. But the Ocean Institute's role is to find pragmatic solutions. So it is about ensuring and safeguarding the livelihoods of coastal communities, ensuring that the future generations would also benefit from the resources within the ocean space, and ensuring that whatever we are doing now, today, we do it sustainably and safely, because there are a number of cases where, for example, even people lose their lives at sea for basic things like how do they ensure their security. So a lot of the activities that AOI is going to embark on, particularly those that are related to outreach. So one of the key things that we'll be doing is an outreach or a community outreach, is to how do we harness the traditional ecological and marine knowledge to be able to bring on board the scientific to help them in what they already do. So these are some of the things. Of course, in terms of the capacity building as well, we have plans to roll out some executive master's program to help professionals who work within the ocean and coastal marine space. So once we are ready, we'll be announcing these things. So there's a lot of benefit to Ghana as a whole. And of course, our regulators would also be supported through the activities of our Ocean Institute. So, for example, the Fisheries Commission, if you look at the coastal development authorities, even local assemblies, are all going to benefit because there are a lot of things that depend on the outputs which will come from the Africa Ocean Institute. So there's a lot to benefit from. Thank you.
So I just want to summarize it again. The first one is that we are going to have an enhanced research in the sense that we will collaborate with so many people across the continent, across the world, to go into more research in coastal and marine issues. Capacity building, we are already into that, but it's going to be enhanced. Provide more scholarships, provide more opportunities to people, and then extend our capacity building to local communities, coastal communities, where we will have, we've been doing what we call, what science? Short courses. We do short courses, we call it citizen science, where we want to engage people who have not been to school at all to learn a bit of science, to monitor their own environment, and to make sure that the environment is suitable for their existence. And above that, we are talking about policy support to government. So we will be there to support government in all matters relating to the ocean and coastal space, providing ideas, whether we are invited or not. As far as we see the need to come in to help provide ideas to support government, we will do that. So these are some of the things we will do to benefit everybody in the country and on the continent. Thank you.
Thank you. I would want to respond to the last question as to what we are gaining. This institute leverages on a number of advantages. And the first is the fact that it's been birthed on a number of strategic partners. It has chalked over the years, over 60 strategic partners across the world. And this allows us as a university to even advance into frontiers we have never even considered, not only in the marine space, but the natural sciences and beyond. It's one of the few institutions in the natural sciences that is transdisciplinary. If you see their research, it cuts across all, from music to geography to history to every academic space that you could think of linking us to the natural sciences. You see their outreach programs. It's quite extensive. So tell my dear mother that you came to a program that celebrates hard work from the natural sciences into the humanities. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe I will also add a little that sometimes we just overlook. There are a lot of enormous opportunities in the oceans. Mainly Ghana, what we know traditionally is that we use the sea to catch fish, probably transportation when it comes to port services. And until 2007, we discovered our petroleum in the sea. Of course, petroleum can be on land, but we have chunk of petroleum in the sea, Jubilee, Sankofa, and also TEN. We didn't even know that we have that huge potentials of petroleum. But we want to open up in our job market. There are a lot of things that we can discover so that it can open up more job opportunities for the youth. Elsewhere it has started. If you go to Namibia right now, they are mining graphite in the sea. I must tell you, but don't go, journalists, don't take it away. We have gold in the sea. I have chance upon UK documents. As far as when they came, they saw that gold, pure gold, goes into about 5-10 kilometers into the sea. We haven't touched it. So the time that you heard that Elmina, people were going to mine for gold, it is true. But we are scared of pollution. We haven't developed the technology. The lithium you find in salt pond area, it goes into the sea. A lot of resources. Ghana is a country that we should have been a unique country all over the world. In fact, even in tourism, I will mention just one area that we can make a lot of money. Geographers will disagree with you because they are looking at geo-reference, but then latitude 0 degrees and longitude 0 degrees meet in our waters. If you go there right now, they only put a boa there with a flag, and it's collecting oceanographic data for NOAA, that is National Oceanographic Atmospheric for US. If you just get a cruise vessel, one cruise vessel, and every year we make a lot of noise on the internet. Every year people will fly all over the world, come to Ghana to just cruise to see the middle or the center of the earth. We haven't even talked about it. So the potentials in the sea, we have no idea. We are just sitting here and doing galamsey and farming on land. But I bet you, all of you will move into the sea very soon. Thank you.
Yes, I just want to touch on one very simple area on the governance. But, I mean, this is not an ecology class. We would have gone more deeper. But just to simplify what Professor Griffin was saying, whatever you have on land, you also have in the sea. So conceptually, that is what. So the sea is basically 70% water, okay? Whilst the land is. And the land, if you look at the nature of the globe, it's all round. 70% of it is covered by water, largely the oceans, and of course lakes and streams and so on. And so the water, the ocean waters are sitting on land. So that's what he's saying, that whatever you have on land, you have in the ocean. And so for our parts of the world, we've not been able to explore the ocean because of lack of technology, lack of expertise. So we really need to build a lot of capacity. In the developed world, they've developed their countries based on the opportunities they've derived from the ocean. So having said that, let me touch on briefly on the governance. AOI is going to benefit from some level of semi-autonomy within the university, in the sense that the leadership can be hired and fired. You know, it's not going to be the leadership at the level of the executive director, because, as was rightly mentioned by Professor Asari, it's going to be advertised nationally, internationally, and we look out for the best person who has the expertise to attract grants, with proven record of achievement in the ocean space, internationally, and so on. We are not going to follow the conventional statutory provisions where because you are a senior person, you become automatically the director, executive. And these were arguments that we put through the proposal, has been interrogated by academic board, has been interrogated at GTEC when the assessment committee came in. So it's going to enjoy some level of semi-autonomy with its own funding and financial systems, of course, linked to the university and so on. We are going to hunt for talents within UCC and out of UCC, to be able to make sure that it lives the test of time as for Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bene. Yes.
So thank you very much once again. I would like to congratulate the University of Cape Coast and the team behind this brilliant idea. I think Acting Vice Chancellor addressed my question to an extent, but I would want to maybe reiterate it for you to add more to it. I'm concerned about keeping the name Africa, so African Ocean Institute. What measures have been put in place to ensure that it doesn't become a Ghanaian institute? Apart from the executive director's position, what are we going to do to ensure that we tap into the rich resources across Africa, the brilliant ideas? Thank you very much.
Yes, that's a very brilliant question, in a sense that we've thought through it carefully. Africa Ocean, the name Africa has been used in a strategic sense. You know, we already have an Africa Center of Excellence. So the name came out of that. And mind you, we also do have the African Union Center of Excellence. It's strategic in the sense that we cannot say Ghana's Ocean Institute. It's strategic because, as I explained in my press statement, we are trying to leverage on already existing partnerships. African Union works very closely with us. We've done a lot of work for the African Union, the small island developing states, the SIDS. In Seychelles, we've done work for them in Seychelles, in Cape Verde, and currently there are activities going on all over. So we are leveraging on that. In terms of staffing, we are looking at making sure that a certain percentage of staff at the Institute are from within Africa. From East Africa, from the Francophone countries. And already we are piloting that through our postdocs. We've had staff on postdoc from Benin and other countries. In fact, currently we also have a staff from Kenya. We looking at these avenues to bring in staff from Nigeria. We've had this guy, what's the name? Yeah, apart from Benin, Nigeria. This guy who came from Nigeria, from University of Lagos, who came to work with us for about a year. So we're trying to make sure that we're able to attract talents from within the sub-region, from other countries, in terms of staff and in terms of students. We have been able to attract students from nearly 20 countries over the past 5 years who have come to study with us. About 40 PhDs we've graduated, over 100 master students we have graduated. In fact, as of last year, the center and the department had graduated the largest number of postgraduate students in this university. So these are ways that we are looking at to bring in the students from within the region and keep them to work for the institute and look out for other opportunities for postdocs and others. Thank you very much.
Just to add a little bit to what the Pro Vice Chancellor has said. In fact, the name may sound as if, well, we want to just hype it, but actually there's a big rationale behind it, as the Provost said, the Acting Vice Chancellor said. We have been working very closely with international partners for at least a decade now. And currently, we are working closely with the African Union. In fact, there are a number of things that we have been doing for probably about 6-7 years that you haven't heard about at the international level. So I can cite some example. The Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Sciences, for example, has supported the African Union to develop a continental-wide database for fisheries and aquaculture. And we are also being used to build the capacity of several member states of African Union in several areas that they have identified. So this institute is only going to build on what we are already doing, elevating it to the next level, making sure that we are recognized as a one-stop shop for everything to do with the marine space when it comes to the continent of Africa. And we have the records to prove that we are capable of doing that. So we are not going to only exist by name, but we are going to follow it with deeds. Right, thank you.
Right, thank you. Professor Finn.
My name is Agrifin, compound name, hyphenated. It's very necessary. All right, so just to add a little. In fact, at the staff level, we are working across Africa. Just last November, December, we submitted a consortium application, Africa Think Tank Project. So the two centers here, African University, that is the first CCM, and then one in Kenya, one in Uganda, and one in Malawi, right? So about 5. It's unfortunate that we didn't go through at the second stage. We were going to bring in a huge money from, yes, first stage, African Union, that about $5.7 million. It's unfortunate that another group of consortium. So across Africa, we are already working. Some of the things you don't hear, until the money comes, then you hear. So we are already doing it. So that one, no fears. What we want to do is that we want to raise this institute to the level of AWI. AWI is a Alfred Wegener Institute. You can Google it. It's in Germany. Bremerhaven. Those of us who school in Germany know how big AWI is. They have their Polar Star vessel. They have helicopters that go into the ice. We have students there now doing research from our centers. We have likes of IMR, Institute of Marine Research in Bergen, in Norway. I've been there twice. It's so big. that is the level we want to raise this African Ocean Institute. And we'll get there, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Professor Agrefin. Should we permit the very last question? I noted that the Acting Director of Finance had his hand up, and I'm sure it's going to be something about money.
Thank you very much. Please, the presentation talked about building capacities. Some local folks and some learned folks. So can you talk about those you are targeting to build their capacities? Some are here who could be your prospective students and want to know how their qualification currently can fit into your scheme. Again, this broadcast is going very far. I'm sure some people are joining online. So in terms of your needs, what do you need? So that somebody chancing upon the video will understand that you need such and such equipment or such facilities to actually realize your vision. So I think we need to talk a little bit about what we require to actually deliver the aims of the institute. And then finally, looking at how relevant this institute is in terms of human resource, is it possible that management can consider seeking a separate clearance for the institute in terms of recruitment? Because if we just leave it as the normal business, I think we may struggle a little bit to get the requisite numbers and skill sets that we need to actually implement the aims of the institute. Thank you.
Right, thank you. 3 questions in one, but definitely there was money hidden somewhere.
So I'll start with the capacity building question, and the Prof will continue. Who are we training? We are training everybody. I said that, I made mention of the fact that fisher folk along the coast are going to be trained. We have developed programs for them, courses for them to train them. About 2 weeks ago, I was in Senegal, where we have gone into a collaboration with an organization that is very well versed and resourced in training fishing communities, and that is fish processors and fishermen. So we have gone into that collaboration, and very soon, before the June of this year, we'll start that one. We've written proposal which has been accepted, budget approved, and hoping to start before June to begin to build the capacity of our fisher folk along the coast of Ghana and in West Africa. Now, whoever wants to change his or her profession, you are allowed to come. We've had situations in ESCO where people came from history, languages, French, and after 2 years with the center, they changed their positions to become environmental scientists. So whoever wants to come to the center, we are ready to actually work on you to become what you want to be. So everybody, wherever you are, you just desire and think of becoming an ocean expert, come around and we'll work on you. Thank you.
Yes, so I want to take a step back to talk about the benefits to the university. Already, UCC has benefited significantly from ASCO, and permit me to just mention a few. Over the past 6 years, University of Cape Coast has benefited not less than $500,000. This is money coming to UCC, money, hard currency. The records are there, you can check, $500,000. And those funds have been used to support our entrepreneurial activities, about $40,000 Prof is here, she can attest that we supported the business school to promote the university's agenda on entrepreneurship. The Office of, Tvucc, Director of Research, Innovation and Consultancy, ISCO, supported with about $40,000 to set up the knowledge transfer, commercialization office, and many others. MNE office was largely supported by ISCO, the MNE office that we have. Procurement office, ISCO supported significantly in the development of the software. The internationalization strategy of the university, the regionalization strategy, it is still the center and the department that supported. The list goes on and on. Over the past 10 years, we have supported not less than 30 administrators within the central administration and also provosts to travel around the world to build their, the data is there, so the benefits are there, just that sometimes these things don't go out. But significantly, the university benefits a lot. Just that most of these supports goes into human capital development for the university. It does not come in money into pockets of people. So that is the, but then in terms of what we need infrastructure. The center and the institute, now the institute has to develop, and that is why we pleaded with the outgone vice chancellor and the management at the time to give us a dedicated space. So where ISCO is located, up to where Tvucc is, has been dedicated for the institute. So that is what we're looking at expanding. Hopefully, other funding that comes in will be used to put up additional buildings there. We need human resource capacity. Fortunately, GTEC's approval gives leverage for employment of critical staff. So hopefully we'll be advertising for critical staff in areas of law, governance, for the third center. For the 2 existing centers, we already do have some capacity, but of course, we're going to employ some limited staff to augment. And so we, as the acting Director of Finance said, we hopefully will be seeking support of GTEC to give some exclusive support for us to, research vessels. In fact, it goes on and on. We cannot use this press conference to list the kind of needs, but these have all been articulated carefully in the proposal that went out. So whoever want to partner us, be it development agencies or private sector, PPP is welcome. Government partners, we are happy, more than happy to support them to help us in whichever requirements that are needed. Thank you.
All right, so with regards to the category of people who want to be trained in, of course, within the institute, we would have different levels of capacity that will be developed from short courses, which are for professionals who are already in the field. They need some touch-up here and there. We have a number of short courses already in the existence. We have bachelor's degree, we have master's degree, PhDs, and of course, as I alluded to earlier on, Center for Marine Affairs would, when GTEC came, actually one of the recommendations they made is that at the institute level, we need to roll out certain programs that would support what we are already doing. So Center for Marine Affairs is planning to roll out, of course, once we get the clearance, to roll out an executive master's degree in marine policy and governance, which would be open to all practitioners, professionals that are admitted to higher level positions who want to get that qualification to back what the experience they already have in Ghana and across Africa. That will be open. So that is one of the areas we're going to support the institute to grow. And of course, this would be a fee-paying program, so it is not something that is going to be a drain on government coffers, but rather support the University of Cape Coast to generate some. So we would be developing a number of programs at all levels, across all levels, to ensure that everybody benefits. Thank you.
I know we should be wrapping up, but I just want to request that maybe Dr. Echampong can just speak briefly, 3 minutes, about the data hub, which we have established. Is very critical. It's also good for the knowledge of colleagues within the room to know what has been done.
important point I want to make. How many of us want our children to be fishermen or fishmongers? This is a department that has so many opportunities and offers. But when it comes to admission, people don't want even their children to apply to fishes and aquatic science. Oh, once they hear fish, meanwhile we eat fish. Oh, I don't want to be a fisherman. I don't want to be a fishmonger. No, it is not about that. It is not about that. There are so many opportunities in this field, more than even the medical field. That's everybody wants to do biomedical, biochemistry. This time around, we have students applying fisheries and aquatic science first choice, and they choose biochemistry second choice. It tells you that now people are getting the knowledge that there are opportunities in the marine space and even the fisheries. There are so many opportunities. I'll highlight some of these things in my inaugural 19th of March. So please come and listen.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Acting VC, for the opportunity. So, I think briefly, as you all know, knowledge is power, correct? And currently, one of the approaches we are using through the Africa Center of Excellence program, as well as through the department, is to build an ocean knowledge hub. We've already done that. We call that Regional Oceans and Coastal Data Hub. And what we've done is that we have data portal for every country in West Africa, where nations can now come in and manage the knowledge data sets on their ocean and marine resources. The idea is to be able to build a strong knowledge base that can support interoperable research and also the use of AI to make reasonable predictions about the evolution of our coastal marine resources, because you cannot make decisions in vacuum. You need data to back whatever decision you have to make. So one of the strategies we are implementing, I think there was a question about how we are going to make the Africa come true in our names. And one of the strategies is the use of the data management scheme, where we collaborate with countries all across Africa to build a data resource that can support knowledge development for our development. So you can visit the hub. I hope the university system is currently running. It's the rock at UCC at edu.gh. And please visit and let's talk later, please.
Right. Thank you very much. We're grateful. Let's applaud our panelists as they take their seats, they resume their seats. We can do it better. Thank you so much. Prof. Chair, he will give us his closing remarks.
Yeah, so registrar, provosts, directors, deans, coordinators, HODs, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that you have gained an insight into the AOI, the Africa Ocean Institute. When it was announced, many people were asking, is it a new institute? Certainly, it is new, but not new. We are simply leveraging on existing activities. I want to use the opportunity to thank you so much for coming. I know how busy all of us are in this university, and looking across the room with the numbers that are here, we just want to thank you so much as a university. Let us support this initiative and all other initiatives that are going on in this university, because at the end of the day, what we are doing is for UCC. Questions came on the benefits to UCC is there. You know, the benefits are enormous for all of us. We invite all those who have an interest in the Africa Ocean Institute to bring in ideas and to collaborate with the institute and the university at large to make it a success. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me quickly acknowledge the following individuals, and then we'll take a group photo. But then before the group photo, we'll have the closing prayer. We acknowledge the Acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dennis Wolanyoa Heto, the Registrar, Gideon Enoch Abekwe Esquire, Professor Precious Mata, Acting Director for Center for Coastal Management, AISCO, Professor Joseph Agri-Finn, Head, Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Sciences, Professor Noble Asari is also here with us. Professor Rufella Kombe is Provost of CANS. Professor Douglas Ajay, Provost of the College of Education Studies. We also have Professor Martin Zeko. He is the Provost of the College of Health and Allied Sciences. We have Professor Anochi Mohammed Adam. He's the Provost of the College of Distance Education. Dr. Mark Anthony Kobler is the University Librarian. We have Mr. George Alfuantri, Acting Director, Finance. We also have Dr. Atta Yeboah Sapon. He is the Director, Directorate of Academic Affairs. We also have Professor Vincent Asamfo. He's the Acting Director for DAPCA. Mr. Samuel Ayamfo is Acting Director, Audit. And then Dr. Mary Owusu Obimpe is Director, Consular and General Services. We also have Dr. James Pra. He is the Director for the Directorate of University Health Service. We also have officials from Zenith Bank. If you're here, Zenith Bank UCC, let's acknowledge you. Let's applaud them. Thank you for being a part of this session. And to all directors, deans, all college registrars, heads, and other senior officials who are present, we say we are extremely grateful for your time. Reverend Dr. Kwampa, the closing prayer, after which we'll have a photo session, a group photo here in this auditorium. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
We've been seated for some time. If we could rise once again for the closing prayer. And so, God Almighty, we thank you for a very successful and fruitful press conference. We thank you for the lives of all the dignitaries and functionaries that grace the occasion. We ask that may you continue to provide, protect, and then prosper the entire university, the African Ocean Institute. And then we ask that may you make the new institute grow from grace to grace, nationally, internationally, and beyond our imagination. And may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Amen.
So we're going to have a group photo here. I would invite our panelists to come back with a registrar included this time. And I'll kindly ask that all directors, all provosts, all heads of departments, we all come up stage and then we join in this photo taking. So the screen should go off, please. The screen should go off for the photo. So provost, directors, please.